Joe Blanton certainly has a good resume against the Anaheim Angels this year, even though he's pitched 4 times and doesn't have a win to show for it. He is 0-3 in the Athletics endeavors when he's gone to the mound 4 times against the Angels. He's pitched a total of 30 innings, allowed only 7 earned runs. 2 tonight out of the 4 were unearned, and that was in a span of 8 innings, 95 pitches, 5 hits allowed, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. But an error by Bobby Crosby got a foot in the door for the Angels in the second inning. It came on Guerrero's ground ball behind second. Crosby making that 360 turn, fired way past first base into the dugout. Guerrero wound up at second base, and at that point, Blanton wasn't able to stem the tide, and it turned out to be a decisive factor in the night's activities. Darren Erstad was up next, only 9 for 57 against the A's this year. But there's one that's driven deep to right center field. A long run for Kotze. He's going to go hard and field it off the base of the wall. Guerrero around third base on the way to the plate and scores on a double by Erstad that hit the base of the right center field wall.
Well, that's one of the things, Bill. We talked about how low scoring the games have been in the season series. So a jump for the Angels right here.
Benji Molina's right side ground ball got Erstad over to third base, and with the infield in, Steve Finley hit a ground ball to short. Crosby fired to the plate. Finley was run down in a 6-2 play, but that allowed Juan Rivera Finley on the ground ball. Erstad was out at the plate. Finley wound up at second base, which allowed Juan Rivera a chance with a runner in scoring position, and Rivera delivered. Drilled into center for a base hit. One hop to Kotze. He comes up throwing around third on the way to the plate, but too late on the throw. The slide is safe at the plate by Finley, and down to second base goes Rivera. So it's 2-0 Angels. A quick jump here. Rivera paying some dividends. He didn't play a lot early in the year, but he's played in his 11th straight game, and he's been giving the Angels an offensive lift, hitting over 300 for the month of September. So the A's were looking at, at a 2-run deficit very early in the ball game. John Lackey retired the first 8 he faced for the Angels, then suddenly had a command problem when he walked Swisher and Ellis back-to-back with 2 out in the third inning and drilled Kendall in the elbow with a fastball that loaded the bases for the A's, and Mark Kotze had a chance, having left the bases loaded twice yesterday and having been the A's most dependable average hitter with runners in scoring position. But Lackey suddenly got back on the track of the strike zone, got 2 quick strikes on Kotze.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, and a pitch down and in, and Kotze is livid. He is hot at Mike Everett, now finally turns and walks away. He wanted Everett to appeal. Everett made a very emphatic, quick call on a pitch down and in. Kotze trying to check his swing, and Kotze screaming at Everett immediately said, "Why didn't you check with the third base umpire?" But Everett had already made the call, and so Kotze strikes out with the bases loaded, and the A's fail to score in the third. And after 3 complete, Angels 2, Athletics nothing.
And it was a little contentious tonight by members of both teams as far as the umpiring was concerned. Blanton got in a little groove and retired 7 straight batters until there were 2 out in the 4th inning, and Benji Molina jumped on a curveball for a single to center field, and Steve Finley came to the plate, and with a 2-1 count, it was a deja vu in a way.
Here's the pitch to Finley. It's a deep right. Back on it. Swisher looking up, and it is gone. Up on the ledge above the out-of-town scoreboard. A 2-run home run to right field by Steve Finley. And now the Angels have taken a 4-0 lead.
His 12th homer and the second off Joe Blanton this year. That was the deja vu aspect of it. Back on the 24th of April, a Finley homer in the 7th inning was the only run of the game, and the Angels beat Blanton in a complete game effort by a score of 1-0. So the A's had a big mountain to climb, and in the top half of the 5th inning, they were still down by a score of 4-0. 2 out with the Angels batting, and it was time for a little something to make the fans cheer, and it was provided by Nick Swisher. It also was time for the Margarita King Call, brought to you by the Margarita King, the world's only gold medal winning margarita in a bottle. Now at Safeway. swing and a little looper in the shallow right field, and Swisher comes in, makes a dive, and has it. Nick Swisher diving straight forward for that little dying quail, got his glove under it just above the grass, and retires Cabrera to end the 1-2-3 fifth inning for the Angels. After 4.5, 4-0 Angels. And there was your Margarita King call, brought to you by the Margarita King. The world's only gold medal winning margarita is now in a bottle at Safeway. Just say, King me, baby, and sip responsibly. On to the action tonight, and it got much better for the A's at the very next inning. In the bottom half of the fifth inning, Jay Payton rifled a single to start the inning, but then things lagged a bit. There were 2 out. He was still at first with Mark Ellis up and behind in the count. So Ellis smacked a curveball into left field for a base hit, putting runners at first and second and bringing up Jason Kendall. Swung and hit into left center field. Finley racing over. He will not get there. Dropped in the alley. Here comes 1 run in. Payton is home. Ellis turning for the plate. There'll be no throw. 2 runs in. Jason Kendall's double chops the deficit in half here in the fifth inning. Now 4-2 Angels. Meantime, Joe Blanton really settled in, and after the home run by Finley in the fourth inning, he allowed only 1 base runner through his 8 innings of work tonight, and that was a 2-out double by Rivera in the 7th, which he quickly negated by getting the final out of the inning. Meantime, the Athletics got no more off Lackey, who left after 6 and turned it over to Kelvin Escobar, pitching the 7th and the 8th. A 1-out double by Swisher gave the A's hope for something, but Escobar came out to get Ellis whipping on 3 pitches and ground out Jason Kendall. And when the A's came up in the bottom of the 8th, it was still that matter of that 2-run deficit. And again, Escobar working along, got 1 quick out before he faced Eric Chavez.
Escobar, third base side of the rubber, working from the windup. Just turns and delivers. It's on the way, and Chavez rips it to right, and it's gone. And now it's 4-3. And that was just killed. Way up on the steps in dead right field. Angels 4, Athletics 3. He just blistered it. 26th home run for Chavez, RBI number 97. 4-3 ball game, 1 out in the 8th inning.
The crowd was aching for more, though. Escobar was not going to oblige. He got 2 quick ground ball outs to end the inning, and when the A's got out of a threat with 2 on and 2 out with Street getting the Rivera to end the top of the 9th, the crowd still had hopes that something could develop even against the very formidable K-Rod, Frankie Rodriguez, coming in out of the bullpen. But he grounded out Payton. He struck out pitch hitter Bobby Kelty, and it was Nick Swisher just trying somehow to get aboard and keep things going. But K-Rod, a bit too much. Rodriguez ready. 1-2 to Swisher. Strike 3 call. Breaking ball. He is rung up. And the Angels now are down to a magic number of 2 to clinch the American League West. As a 4-3 victory for Anaheim tonight gets them the leg up in the first game of this 4-game series, coming to town knowing they only needed 2 wins to take the division crown for the 2nd straight year. They got 1 tonight as the A's fall a run shy. The final score is the Angels 4 and the A's 3. And we'll have a look at the scoreboard right after this.